I've got an incredible, super lightweight road bike to show you today. This is a custom S-work Aethos that's said to weigh just 5.45 kilograms. And it has customized internal cable routing. A normal specialized Aethos has external cables. So I'm gonna go through all the details on this incredible build and also explain all the clever weight-saving hacks that it's got going on here and how the cables have been internally routed. This is gonna be good. So this beautiful custom Aethos is actually the creation of a chap called Oleg, who actually has his own YouTube channel called Twisted Wheels and has very kindly let us film it and show you it today. So make sure you go check out his channel because he's got some interesting bike builds on there. The important thing you need to know about this is that he wanted to create an Aethos that was a lightweight bike that was still functional and wasn't just a crazy kind of weight weenie build. And the other big thing was that he liked the Aethos, but he wasn't a fan of the external cables, and so he wanted to remove them. So what he's done is very clever. So eagle-eyed viewers will spot that this isn't the standard Aethos fork. It's actually one of these, which is a fork made by Jaded, and you can see that it has a sort of D-shaped cross-section here, which allows you to have internally routed cables up through the steerer tube. Now, this fork is an aftermarket option that, in theory, would allow you to turn a lot of bikes into internally routed bikes, which is quite intriguing. What we then have is a custom handlebar here, which has been made by a company called Bjorn. They're also responsible for the super lightweight saddle and seat post on this bike. And it's actually got a hole slot in the back of it that goes, the cables then go through the stem and then through the steerer. Now, what this would then ordinarily leave would be an unsightly hole on the side of the head tube here, on the down tube, where the cable routing ports normally would be. So what's happened is Oleg has taken all the paint off the bike and then he's sanded those cable ports down, reapplied carbon over the top to cover them up, and then the frame has been repainted and the result is seamless. You can't tell that there was ever a hole there. It looks really, really smart. Now, this is a lightweight frame to begin with. The Aethos S-Works is 590 grams in this size, but what's happened is you sort of, by adding the cable internal routing solution, you've added 100 grams of system weight back on, but you know, this is a sacrifice that he's prepared to make for the aesthetics, and it probably has a slight aero gain to it as well. Now, in terms of the custom paint job on it, I love it. I think it looks absolutely brilliant, and it's been done by Jack Kinston, who you may recall is the chap that paints the feather cycles that we've often shown at the Bespokes bike show. He is responsible for some exquisite paint jobs. And so this was completely taken back to the carbon. And then because he wanted to save weight, the paint job that's been applied is very minimalist. So the back of the bike is the bare carbon with just a bit of clear coat on, and then we've got a fade that's done really nicely into this gloss, sort of pearlescent white. I'm told it adds just around 35 grams, so not much at all. And then we've got some custom graphics on here as well. So it says Aethos Twisted Wheels Edition, 1 of 1. Very nice, just subtle and nice. And then on the top, we've got the S-Works logo and a quote from Eddie Merckx. The ride as much or as little as you like, but just make sure you ride. Oh, another brilliant detail on the custom paint job, which I love, is it's got a UCI sticker on there, but it's not a real UCI sticker. If you look closely, it says sub 6.8 club, UCI illegal, 5465 grams. Because the UCI has no jurisdiction here. Like it, really cool. Now, sticking with the cockpit area, there's some really interesting things going on here. So we've got a very industrial looking out front computer mount here. It's made by Extra Light. I'm told it's just 14 grams. And well, it's intriguing how it's attached on with the stem sort of clamp on the side here. That's really cool. Now, the shifters are pretty intriguing. So these are SRAM Force shifters. The new SRAM Force. Now, what's genius about this is These are actually the same weight as the previous gen red, but he's gone for force because he's told me that he prefers the shape of the force lever and the ergonomics because it's been updated from the old red. And the weight is the same as the old red, but he's made them lighter, and this is really clever, by changing out the hardware that clamps the shifter onto the lever, so the bolt, the nut and the washer are now titanium. That saved 12 grams on each shifter, which is, well, it makes them slightly lighter than red. Proper cool. The bar tape on here as well. I love how it matches the paint job, the white and the black. That's a Chinelli bar tape. So another area where there's been loads of weight saving is the wheels. These have been built by Oleg himself, and they're just 845 grams a pair. Now, they're not tubulars, they're tubeless. So it's pretty clever here. So we've got light bicycle rims. There's a saving because they don't have rim tape on them. They're just a sort of carbon rim, which saves a bit of weight. They're super wide, and they're built onto carbon spokes, and then we've also got extra light hubs as well. So, I mean, that's really light for a set of tubeless wheels. We also have Vittoria Corsa Next tyres on here, 30 mil, because, well, he says he wants the bike to be functional. He wants to be able to ride it anywhere. Also got sort of big modifications with the brakes. So rather than having the standard SRAM calipers, we've got tune calipers on. These are actually, well, he reckons, a bit more powerful because the standard SRAM caliper is just a 2-piston. These are 4-piston. But when you change the brake pads out for aluminium back pads, he reckons there's a weight saving there over the SRAM one, which is intriguing. Also, another weight saving thing is instead of going for a center lock rotor, we've actually got aftermarket rotors that are from a brand called Shima, and these are 6-bolt, which again, a 6-bolt hub is slightly lighter than going for a center lock one. Onto the drivetrain, and again, there's just so many brilliant details here that are saving weight. So the crank set is a SRAM red one with carbon cranks, but I love the attention to detail to sort of maintain the aesthetic of the bike. So Oleg felt that the sort of graphics on the SRAM red logo would clash with the sort of simple white and black paint job he's got going on, so he's covered them up with a bit of vinyl. So just nice and stealthed out and just black. Also got 1x drivetrain. It's a good option to have if you're trying to save weight. So we've got a 42 tooth chainring paired with a 1036 cassette. I've also got a SRAM red access rear mech on here, which is capable of being run in a 1x configuration. So this is an aftermarket cassette on the back here. But this range of gears is, sort of equivalent to having a 5034 with a 1229 cassette. So yeah, it's pretty functional use of the 12 speed. Other little cool details though, the pulley wheels and the chainring are made by a brand that I've not heard of before, but they're aluminium and they're made by a brand called Garbaruk. But the little oversized pulley wheels fitted into the system here, they look really cool. It's a standard SRAM dub bottom bracket on there, and what to the untrained eye look like standard speed play pedals. They're not. They've been modified with aftermarket components. So the axles are titanium, and also right down the little bolts that are on the pedals that hold them together, they've been upgraded to titanium as well. The weight saving means that these pedals weigh just 145 grams a pair now. How cool is that? And if you're wondering about the chain, it's not filthy. Wax chain patrol. Yeah, it's really clean look. It's been waxed. Which is great to see, but it's black. It's a SRAM XX1 mountain bike chain, so that's the reason why it's black, and it's just to fit in with the aesthetic of the bike. Other things I forgot to mention are, well, the weight of the saddle is just 88 grams, and the bars are 170 grams. So these Bjorn components, super light, look very nice. And the bottle cages, so they're Carbon Works bottle cages from Germany. I saw those at Eurobike a few years ago. They're, just 8 grams each. Nuts. Well, that's enough of my yakking for now. I'm going to grab the scales because I want to check the weight and see if Oleg's telling the truth. And also, let's chat to Oleg, the man who created this bike, and see what else we can find out. There we go. 5.42. That's that's impressive, isn't it? It's so light, the wind is just catching it. Cheers, Oleg.
Cheers.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for letting us have a look at this amazing build. First thing I've got to ask is, like, why did you create it?
Well, I'm a weight weenie, and when Specialized released the S-work Aethos, it was like, wow, I need to get this frame and build a bike on it. But the only thing actually there were two things that stopped me was absence of internal cables routing that we talked about, and also the price of this frame. So I had to wait for a couple of years when people start selling their used frame sets.
So this was a used one that you bought?
Yeah, I bought actually a used frame without a fork, which was, well, a good thing for me because I wanted to convert it to internal cable routing anyway. So yeah, I was like jumped on it as soon as I saw it on eBay.
Nice. And so other things on here, like, I mean, I'm impressed with like what you've done with like the shifters and using those rather than the red ones.
Yeah.
So, like, why did you use the 4 shifters rather than red ones?
Well, usually people just buy the most expensive components trying to build the lightest bikes. But in this case, I've been using SRAM rival shifters on my other builds.
Yeah.
And when I compared the weight difference was around just 20 grams between rival and red. So when they released their new Force version, which is smaller levers, much better looking, better economics, I bought them. And when I checked the weight, they actually were like either the same or even like a couple of grams lighter than red because they're smaller. And I've upgraded the hardware to titanium, and it brought the weight down even further, so they're actually lighter than red.
So, am I right in thinking that the finishing kit, the bars and the saddle and the seat post are like rated for even gravel use? So
yes,
that's pretty functional.
And I'm actually using Beyond components on my gravel bike as well, and like I've tested them in some really severe conditions on mountain bike trails on my gravel bike, and this seat post I actually used on my mountain bike hardtail.
Yeah.
And it survived mountain bike with no issues, so I'm very confident in
the strength of it.
The whole setup of this.
So where have you taken the bike? Where's the best place you've taken it?
I would say probably Mallorca.
Oh, right.
And I've been
so up and down the mountains in like...
Up and down Sacalobra and
nice.
Other places, no issues at all.
That's proper cool. I'm going to have to do a free hub sound check on your extra light hubs. See what they sound like. Well, they're loud, aren't they? They are. Good. That's nuts. Well, thanks, man. Thanks so much for showing us your incredible Aethos. I love what you've done with hiding the cables away. It is ingenious. But if you've enjoyed watching this video and learning about this incredible bike, then, well, please give it a thumbs up. Also, check out Oleg's channel as well, and let us know your thoughts down below. Do you prefer this to a normal Aethos with external cables? Bye.